I'm Heather Valgoss for Performance Marketing Insider, and joining me today is Mike Williams, Network Manager of RingPartner. Mike, thank you for being here with us.
No problem. Happy to be here.
So, can you explain to us exactly what RingPartner is?
Probably the best and easiest way to describe it is RingPartner is a pay-per-call affiliate network. So we work with advertisers to drive calls to their call centers, and we work with publishers or distribution partners to drive calls over to those advertisers.
Okay, so basically an advertiser is placing an ad that has their phone number in it. An affiliate will publish that ad, or that ad gets published on their website, and hopefully both people end up making money.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, it's basically the same as any affiliate network, except we're using tracking phone numbers rather than tracking links, and the campaigns convert on a duration rather than a pixel fire. So advertisers will give us their phone number, usually a unique phone number, into their call center. We plug that into our Invoca tracking system, which then generates a number of tracking phone numbers, and they're all forwarding numbers, and the publishers then place those in their various traffic sources.
Okay, so why the emphasis on phone numbers? I mean, it seems kind of old school when we have email and we have chat and we have websites where people can get all the information they need.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of funny. It feels a little bit like it's something that should have been here in the past, and paper call's been around for a long time. I mean, I remember back in 2004, working at a company, and they were trying to get paper call going. But the real reason that it's taking off now is mobile click-to-call and the adoption of mobile smartphones across the board, from everyone in the U.S. and Canada basically adopting the use of smartphones, making it more viable and something that is actually growing, and that's really driving the growth in pay-per-call. So, and advertisers love calls, right? I mean, you're making a direct connection in real time. Somebody's searching for something, they click to call, they connect, they're genuinely interested in the product or service, and now they're talking on the phone in real time. So
most solopreneurs or small business owners might not want a bunch of phone calls coming in, so it kind of sounds like it might be geared towards a bigger business to be an advertiser. But what is your typical advertiser?
Typically, the advertisers are a little bit bigger. They're advertisers that already have a call center set up so that they can handle thousands of calls daily. But for the SMBs, the small market businesses, they can do it as well. We would just bundle them in and create a group. So if they can only accept, say, 20 calls, we could bundle them in as a bigger picture, so they would only get the calls in their areas that they want to receive. But generally, it works better, and ideally, it would work better if they already have a call center in place.
So, as an advertiser, would I pay for impression, or would I just pay for the calls that actually come through? How does that work?
Yeah, you just pay for the calls. So you're getting calls that are already somewhat qualified. Generally, they come from mobile search, because that's a big area of traffic for pay-per-call. So they're qualified in that they've searched for auto insurance, they've clicked on an ad, they've connected, and then usually they'll go through an IVR, where either that's on our side and we're filtering out the calls before it's even sent over to the advertiser. So we kind of pre-qualify them. Yes, they're looking for auto insurance. Let's send this one over. Whereas sometimes we have to filter those calls out. So the advertiser ends up getting a qualified call that they're paying for. And hopefully they're only paying for the qualified calls, so that if they don't want customer service, we need to filter that out before it arrives in their call center. So it is quite an effective way of advertising. The advertisers love it because they're paying for that real-time connection directly to a consumer. So it works well.
Okay, so what percentage of the calls that go through are click-to-call rather than someone just manually dialing in the phone number?
That's a good question, and I would guess that it's somewhere around like 90%. I mean, most of the calls that come through from a Google or Bing search, they're clicking on an ad extension, so they don't actually even hit a landing page. They just directly connect to the call center, and in some cases, if they do end up on that landing page, it's a very low percentage of the traffic that's actually driving the calls. So, I would guesstimate around 90% of the calls are, directly connected rather than like written down and typed. And I think that's one of the things that stopped pay per call from taking off in the past, is that it's just enough of a barrier for the consumer to see a phone number on a landing page on a desktop, just enough of something in the way that they're not going to pick up their phone and run over to their landline and punch in the numbers, right? If we could just make that direct connection happen almost immediately, that works best. So.
Give us an idea of what these ads look like. Is it just an image with a headline and click to call and that's it?
In some cases, I mean, it really depends on the call to action and the path that the user is going to take. But for example, if it's a Google search mobile ad, it's usually a text ad, and then Google places a little phone button there that the user can click on. So the user can click on that, or they can click on the text link, which prompts the call feature on your iPhone or Android phone.
Okay, so just like doing Google AdWords, it's all in the headline, the call to action, getting people interested enough to take, like, that's actually a big step to make a phone call rather than just click and, hey, let's see what this is all about.
Yeah, exactly. And so the way that I like to consider it is that the IVR is your landing page, since they're clicking on the ad, which is sort of that first point of contact. They've sort of piqued their interest enough that they're going to click. And so that IVR has to do a bit of selling, a bit of qualifying before they actually connect to the call center. So I see that as your landing page because it's the next step in the process. Whereas, in traditional link advertising, you'd click that link, you'd see a landing page with more calls to actions, a button, a lead form, add to cart type features. But in this case, it's a direct connect. So I think the advertisers appreciate it if it goes from the click to call ad on Google and goes to an IVR where they can be pre-sold or just kind of warmed up before they actually hit the call center.
In your experience, what have you found is a good call to action that makes people click more?
I mean, I think that in this industry, in pay-per-call, it's definitely call now, call today, or tap to call, click to call. Even something as simple as call now from your mobile phone or call now from your smartphone, but it's all about call. I mean, I think that's the action that we need them to take. That's the action that publishers need to take, and it's the action that the advertisers at the end, they need calls. They'll deal with the sales side of things, but it's really just getting that initial call. So the call to action that is calling.
Right. So the call to action is literally call.
It literally is. It's as simple as that. I mean, that's the action that, like I said, that we want them to take. So yeah, it is call.
All right. So what about the offer? Are you seeing better results with advertisers who are maybe offering something free, get a discount, get a free report, get a free blah, blah, blah? Or is it just basically for more information, click to call?
I'm not seeing any patterns that indicate that one is necessarily doing better than the other. I think that free is something that appeals to people, but it really depends on, since most of them are driven by search, right? If they're looking for auto insurance, it's a free quote that really drives that. So I think using those terms is good if it's true. But it's really the nature of the campaign that sort of drives that call. So one of our campaigns is Live Links, which is really, it's a call-driven business. So you call, is the only way basically to sort of get engaged with that campaign. So I think that offers like that, really work well. If we can say something like call for a free quote for health insurance, auto insurance, that sort of thing, that works well as well. But there's a number of different verticals that are working in pay-per-call, and one of those is sale products. So call now and get 10% off. That definitely works, and I think we see the same thing in TV as well, right? When you see some of those ads seen on TV products, it's call in the next 5 minutes and get this offer. So I don't see any direct patterns around that, but those sort of things sort of help pitch the campaign and drive more clicks and more calls.
If I put myself in a consumer role, when I'm searching for something or researching something or in that phase of trying to figure out who I might give my money to for a service,
Mm-hmm.
picking up the phone is the last thing I want to do. Like, it might be just me, but I'm very visual, but I prefer to do all the research. I prefer to see the website. I prefer to know as much as I can before I ever call someone. And if I have a choice to email instead or chat, I'll usually pick that. So I'm just really curious what the conversion is on pay-per-call as compared to a regular pay-per-click ad.
Yeah, and I think that you know what you're saying is true for potentially people in the industry. You know, because I
Okay.
sort of feel somewhat the same about that, but I think that we're kind of a tainted audience for
Right.
this. You know, because you know I wonder who's downloading these products, who's filling out these forms, because it's certainly not me. Um,
Yeah.
and you know, I would probably send an email before I would pick up the phone and call, but consumers are definitely doing it. And I think that if you place yourself in their situation when they really need that, so you know, if you're looking, I'll use the example of an auto quote again. If you're really genuinely looking for an auto quote, you may just feel like, you know, maybe if I could just talk to someone, that would be better. So I think that it's situational based on the consumer's needs, and people definitely call. And it's I guess it seems kind of old school, but it's just such a great form of connecting people. So it's faster. So if someone wants an answer now, it definitely you don't have to wait for that callback, or the advertiser doesn't have to wait for that callback as well. As far as conversion
Yeah.
rates go, I think if you're talking about conversion on the publisher side, I think that it's not unrealistic to see a 30 to 40% conversion from the click, because that click is actually prompting a potential call. And then if that call lasts a duration of, you know, ranging from 1 to 3 minutes, it's generally very likely to convert. You're not asking for a sale. You're not asking for a conversion on a lead form page. You're just asking for that call. So if they've clicked, the call is prompted, and then if they actually say yes, call that number, it's very likely that they're going to talk for a couple minutes. On the advertiser side, that's something that we work very closely with the advertisers to ensure that they are getting good quality calls. I can't speak really to the exact conversion rate that they're seeing, but it's definitely working even for the sale products. It's working quite well, and I think that's, you know, why another reason why we're seeing growth is that pay-per-call does work. It works for sales. It works for free quotes. It works for, you know, campaigns like Alive Links. So the conversion rates, I don't know how they compare, you know, to a lead form or like a shopping cart on a campaign, but I would think that they would be pretty close.